What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. UFC 298 Volkanovski versus Topuria is just around the corner. It takes place this weekend, and these are my full card predictions and breakdown for every single fight on the card. It's a great pay-per-view. Bunch of fights, a bunch of close matchups, and difficult picks as well. So I've had to think long and hard about these, pause, and really consider who I'm picking, why I'm picking them, and that's going to make for a great video. So, let's get started with the prelims. First fight on the card is Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. I'm picking Maverick by decision. She's a decently sized favourite. I do think she gets it done using the grappling. Andrea Lee has lost a bunch of her recent fights. She never really gets dominated, but she always kind of just loses. Doesn't really push through the adversity, which is something that I don't like if you're going to be fighting a kind of tenacious grappler like Maverick, who's going to shoot a bunch of takedowns. Look, she lost to Jasmine Jasudavicius, but Jasmine's pretty good as well in her own right, and Andrea Lee just hasn't really beat anyone good recently, so I'm picking Maverick. Oban Elliott versus Val Woodburn. I'm taking Oban Elliott by unanimous decision. I just don't think Val Woodburn's that good. He only really got into the UFC because he got to fight Bo Nickel on short notice. He got starched, and apart from that, look at his record. He was undefeated, but absolute cans. Pure tin cans that he's fighting. I think Oban Elliott's actually decent, got some decent opponents on his record, and he should get it done by decision. I'm picking Danny Barlow to KO Josh Quinlan. Quinlan got popped for roids, and he isn't even good. So he's not even like a John Jones. Like, this guy, he's taken roids and he's not even good. So taking Barlow to win, he's got a massive range advantage. I think he'll catch him at the end of the shots and put him down. I'm picking Mingyang Zhang to win by KO in a fight against Brenson Rogerio that I do think is extremely close. I'm definitely contemplating that pick. I'm going to go with Mingyang Zhang. If you look at both of their records, they've both fought a bunch of cans, a whole lot of tin cans on their record, but if you look at the losses between the two, Mingyang Zhang's were like 5 years ago when he was like 20 years of age fighting at heavyweight, probably just some fat kid that wanted to do some martial arts. And then Brenson Rogerio's losses are a lot more recent. He does have a range advantage, but I do think Mingyang Zhang is going to be able to get past both of them extremely powerful. So in my opinion, someone's going to sleep in the first round, and I do think it's going to be Rogerio. He just doesn't look, he's kind of like a Johnny Walker in a way where he leaves himself out of position a lot. So if you can get past the reach and you end up inside, pause, then you definitely have openings for shots to the face. Again, pause. But the next fight, Rinya Nakamura, massive favourite against Carlos Vera. He's going to starch him in a round, I think. He could out-grapple him and just hold him down and stuff, but if you look at his road to the UFC fight against, I forget who it was, Kazama. He fought Kazama, who's not good, but he came out and just blitzed him straight away. So I do think he is slightly reckless and open on the feet, but in this fight, he's a massive favourite. I do think he's just going to come out there, get the job done straight away. Probably won't get a bonus because of how big of a favourite he is, but I do think he'll get another highlight reel knockout. Again, but a submission or a dominant decision wouldn't surprise me. This is one where the prop betting side of things is not appealing unless there's a big odds line on like a KO or something, but yeah, he should win dominantly and easily. But those are the less important fights, or the earlier fights. Now let's move on to the big boys, the fights that matter. Justin Tafa versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I'm picking Justin Tafa by round 1 KO, and it's an extremely risky prediction. He is an underdog, and I'm hearing a lot of people picking de Lima, and I do get the argument. Tafa hasn't beat anyone good, but I don't actually think de Lima's beat anyone good either. Like, he beat Waldo Cortez Acosta, who ain't good. He went to a decision with Arlovski, like, sick. Waldo sucks. He beat Arlovski, like, cool. Again, Arlovski ain't that good at this point in his career. He hasn't beat a whole lot of good guys, and his losses are, they're not to any crazy opposition, like he went tit for tat with the number 5 guy, but he's just lost to these kind of just like 10 to 15 or unranked guys like Blagoy Ivanov, these kind of guys. So I don't rate him that highly. He got KO'd in his last fight, took a bunch of ground and pounds. I don't think he's got a bad chin by any means, but I just got the vibe Tafa's going to catch him. Look, it's not an extremely detailed or researched prediction. I just kind of think Rogerio de Lima's not, he's shown to be chinnable. Tafa has too, obviously, but de Lima doesn't really KO people. He usually wins dominant kind of wrestling or leg kick decisions and stuff like that. Tafa, I don't know, I just got the vibe. He ain't going to shoot straight away. Lima's going to stand with him for a little bit, and Tafa's just going to find a big shot, put him away, and get a big highlight reel KO, maybe with a walk-off in the first round. Look, if you're looking at who's the better fighter, who's fought the better opposition, definitely Lima, but I think I'm hearing MMA Guru, I'm hearing Lucas Tracy, they're saying that they're picking Lima, and I get it, because they're like, oh, look, Tafa's lost all these bums, but it's like, his record right now is 7-3. He started in the UFC in like 2019. He kind of like made his like debut. He fought like 2 fights and then he's just in the UFC straight away. So of course he's going to lose to a few guys. Yes, he didn't beat any good opposition, but I think he was probably a bit more undisciplined, and now he is starting to kind of find his footing and get some confidence. He's got some momentum as well behind him, and I do think he'll get the KO. But again, not a super detailed or confident prediction. Could go either way, but I like Tafa as an underdog when he has that one-shot power. But we move on to the next fight. Got Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Lemos. I'm picking Lemos to win by round 2 TKO. I just can't trust Dern's striking at this point, and she hasn't shown a overly viable ability to get the fight to the ground. If she ends up on the ground, I'm sure she'll probably sub Lemos, which does make this a risky prediction. It's extremely close money, so I do think a lot of people see the chance that Dern does get it to the ground in some way or another. Lemos has been subbed by Andrade with a standing arm triangle. I don't see Dern getting something like that, like a strength-based submission. I do think if she is going to sub her, she's going to have to take her down, and she didn't take down Andrade. She didn't finish Yan Janan on the ground. Like, I don't know, she arguably lost to Tisha Torres. She just hasn't beat anyone super, super good. Everyone just raves over her because, you know, she's hot and she's got great jiu-jitsu, but she kind of just doesn't have anything else. Her striking looks terrible. She swings with her hands up in the air, with her chin up in the air, and just doesn't look good on the feet. Lemos looks like a male, so yeah, you kind of got to pick her. If you're picking between 2 women, then just pick the uglier one or the one that's lesbian if they're both ugly. And if they're both lesbian and ugly, I don't know, it's a coin flip. But yeah, Lemos should win this. She's actually got power. She hits somewhat like hard. She hits pretty hard for the female division, of course, and I do think she's going to catch her with a blitz. Round 2 TKO is going to be my call. She's a very slight favourite. She opened wide, and everyone's like, yeah, Lemos is going to starch her, but now a lot of people are kind of coming in on Dern thinking she's going to get it done. I just don't see it. I can't trust her, but again, this is one of those fights where, you know, Dern could just find a way to win, get it to the ground somehow and sub her. But after the Wei Li fight, got dominated in the wrestling. Definitely Dern does not have the wrestling of Wei Li, and I do think Lemos is going to have making big improvements, and she was preparing for Tatiana Suarez as well. Dern stepping in on shortish, not super short, but shortish notice, and Lemos was preparing for fucking Tatiana Suarez, who's a great wrestler and who has great all-round grappling. So I do think she'll be prepared for this fight and get it done by TKO. We move on, though, to the main card. Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez. I'm taking Roman Kopylov by round 2 KO or TKO. I think he's going to get this one done, and I really like him as an underdog in this spot. I know a lot of people are picking Fluffy Hernandez. They do think his grappling is going to be enough to get it done, and I definitely can see that argument. I definitely could see him just kind of wearing an early storm, pressing through, and just taking down Kopylov and subbing him. But again, it's a similar thing with the Tafa Lima fight. People are bringing up Kopylov's losses to Derive and Roberson early in his career when he was super young and inexperienced, and saying like, yeah, of course he's going to lose to Fluffy. It's like, well, yeah, okay, Fluffy got finished by Kevin Holland in under a minute with a body shot, so of course Roman's going to finish him with a body shot. Like, you can't do that. You got to look at them recently. You got to look at them right now. And obviously, I'm not saying Hernandez looks bad right now, but Roman Kopylov looks phenomenal right now. Again, not fighting super high level opposition, but you can kind of just get the vibe when you see someone like, he is just not giving them anything. I know Rogerio caught him with a shot in the first and kind of was like punching him against the cage a little bit, but he flatlined him, and before Rogerio landed that little flurry, he was like striking at like a 75% accuracy. Against Fremd, he was striking at like 80%. This guy strikes so accurately. He's an absolute sniper. He targets the body better than a lot of guys at middleweight, in my opinion. The kicks to the body, kicks up top, leg kicks, body kicks, knees. Like, he's a great range striker. And if you look at Hernandez's fight against Edmund Shabazian, I know he did dominate him in the second and third rounds, but take a look at the first round. Shabazian, who in my opinion is a very similar style, in my opinion, not as good as Roman Kopylov on the feet, he was giving Fluffy problems. He was cracking him up, keeping him at range a little bit, even got him to the ground and got top position at one point, so I don't see that happening. But you know what I mean? Fluffy is a bit of a slow starter. He's susceptible to getting cracked up early, and he also is susceptible to getting hurt to the body, which I can definitely see Roman Kopylov doing. Because if you look at that Fremd fight, Puna Soriano hurt him bad to the body, finished him off in the second. Rogerio was doing well to the body, just kind of keeping him at range, and then cracked him with a head kick in the second as well. KO'd him. Josh Fremd was just beating him up the whole time. He was getting him to bite on feints so much. Fremd was flinching every time Kopylov even gave him a hip feint, and he was just bringing his hands down, and he got hit up top with the head kick. Eventually got KO'd with a punch to the body. So it might not even be a kick. He could just punch him to the body, knee him to the body. I think he is going to target the body very well here. Hernandez was preparing for Ikram. Look, this is 3 week or 4 week short notice. 4 weeks short notice for Kopylov, which isn't ideal, but his Fremd fight was on short notice. His Rogerio fight was on relatively short notice. This guy has taken a lot of short notice opportunities, which makes me think he's kind of always ready year round. He's been training in Dagestan with the Cliff Dwellers, but I do think, as much as I don't like him, I like Roman Kopylov, and that's going to be really good for his game in terms of the takedown defense. Because one thing that's underrated about the Dagestan guys is obviously they get a bunch of takedowns and their top control is amazing, but they don't get taken down. Burns shot on Hamzat, Usman even shot at him a few times. These guys have shot on Islam before. You just don't take these daggy guys down, and I don't think that Kopylov is going to just get ragdolled by Hernandez, because in my opinion, obviously, Hernandez, he's like a Merab on crack. His cardio does come ahead later in fights, but I do think Kopylov's got a pretty solid cardio base. He doesn't gas out in fights. He was kind of breathing a little bit heavy in times, but that's because he's just piecing guys up and throwing a whole bunch of output. Fluffy's got great grappling cardio, but I do think if he kind of just gets cracked up early on the feet, he might panic a bit, not have his wits about him. Kopylov's just kicking him, push kicks, head kicks, leg kicks, hurt him into the body, and Hernandez is just kind of doing some bad shots. Bad takedowns drain your energy as well if you don't get those. When you put in a big effort to try and get a takedown and you just get shucked off and then hurt on the way out, that really gasses you out. So I'm not saying Kopylov's going to gas him out, but I do think that he can implement a similar game plan to what Edmund Shabazian did. If you've watched that fight, go back and rewatch the first round. Edmund had a lot of success, and I do think he's got a very similar frame to Kopylov, and I think Kopylov can do a similar thing. Hernandez preparing for Ikram, probably anticipating a more well-rounded grappling game, boxing style. Ikram doesn't kick a whole lot. So yeah, I'm picking Kopylov. I think he's great as an underdog. I do think there is a great chance Hernandez wears on him and then gets a sub late if it gets out of the second or the past 1.5. But early on, I think it's going to be all Kopylov. He's going to be piecing him up, beating him up badly, and I think he gets a finish in the second round with a body shot. I think he might hurt him to the body and then maybe KO him to the head, or he just TKOs him to the body is my prediction. But really looking forward to this fight. We move on though to the next fight. Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. I'm picking Merab to win easily, 30-27 unanimous decision. I don't know why people would pick Cejudo in this fight, to be honest. I just don't see where he gets it done. I don't think he's going to wrestle Merab. Just don't think that's going to happen. He struggles to take down Aljo. He didn't take down Aljo too easily. Merab doesn't really get taken down a whole lot. Even if he does, he just gets back up. This guy is a little compact ball, and he just pops back up. He's like a fucking Energizer battery. You get him down, just bang, boom, back up. He just zips up. He's constantly on the forward pressure. I think Cejudo, so he's 37 years of age. Listen, you guys, Merab's going to shoot a takedown, guys. I think he's going to try and wrestle, guys. That's Henry Cejudo's analytical breakdown on the fight. Good job, analyst Henry. Absolute genius, mate. You're the Da Vinci of our time. But I do think Merab's just got a game plan that you can't prepare for, to be honest. You can maybe look for openings on the feet, but Cejudo's not a sniper on the feet, in my opinion. He beat Dom Cruz, but that was just he figured out the weird movement patterns and caught him with a knee. Bit of an early stoppage. He gassed out Marlon Moraes, who was kind of smoking him before that. He lost to Aljo 3-2. Pretty clear win, in my opinion, for Aljo. I don't know. He beat a weight-drained Dillashaw. I think a lot of these guys, a lot of his championship wins kind of have an asterisk next to them. Early stoppage, weight-drained, EPO, fucking dead skeleton Dillashaw. The Moraes win was great, fair play, and the DJ win, that's always going to be good no matter how close or if it was a robbery or not. So great job for him there, but he took a bunch of time off before coming back for the Aljo fight. I don't think he's so hungry anymore. Like, he's like, oh, I was thinking about retirement, and then, I was like, fuck it, I'll keep going. Like, he doesn't seem like he's super, super hungry for the belt. He's like, oh, O'Malley, I'll beat you. Like, I don't know, he just doesn't seem like he's all there for golden glory anymore. Merab's just in the gym constantly working. He's got the best cardio in the sport, in my opinion. His style just is so hard to, counter. You can't counter his style. Like, what are you going to do? You just got to catch him. That's all you can do. You got to catch him with either a shot as he comes in or wrap him up in like a guillotine or something if he shoots a bad takedown. But this guy's going to hold you against the fence. He's going to knee you in the thigh. He's going to keep shooting. You'll separate. You'll be like, oh, I got some time. I got some space. Let me get back to my little rhythm. And then bang, he's shooting again and he's in your face. Like, he throws weird strikes too. Hard to keep up with what he's doing on the feet. He's not quick. He's not technical. He's not that powerful. But he's just in your face. He just overloads people. He crowds them with just shots, and it is hard to keep up with. So Cejudo thinks he's fucking 2015 McGregor doing his little karate stance shit. I don't know what he's doing. I think his actual best chance to win genuinely is to try and wrestle Merab, even though I don't think he would have that much success. I just don't think you can try and strike against Merab because you don't hit him clean and then he just shoots and then you're constantly playing catch up like with Peter Yan. Literally, I thought Yan was going to come on late. I thought that was Yan's time in the fight, but no, Merab came on late even more and just kept pushing. So I don't think Cejudo, you can't expect to damage this guy enough on the feet and win a decision. You got to hope you KO him. I don't think Cejudo's got punching power really, in my opinion. And yeah, I got Merab winning. He's just going to spam takedowns all night long and win a 30-27 decision. And I think Cejudo probably is going to retire afterwards, to be honest. Maybe he sticks around for one more. But apart from that, I just don't think he cares that much. I think he's I'm in it for championships or I'm out. Not I'm in it to just keep fighting and make money and stuff. He kind of is if I win this, I'll fight for the belt, sick. If I lose, whatever, I'm gone. I just don't think he's fully into the sport that much anymore. And yeah, he's going to lose and Merab is going to win and probably still not get a title shot. But we move on to the next fight. Ian Cuckchado Garry versus Geoff Neal. Certified criminal Geoff Neal. I do think Ian Garry is going to get it done though. The certified cuck is going to beat the certified criminal, unfortunately for all of us. I just think he's going to outpoint him at range, kick him a bunch, kind of hurt him to the body at times. I don't know, man. Geoff Neal, look at the fight with Shavkat. He had a lot of success and he was cracking Shavkat. He definitely can catch and drop Ian Garry. Fucking God help us, please. Just make it happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. I do think we're going to have to put up with this abomination of a human for just a little bit longer, and I do think he's going to get this one done. Kicks at range are great. I just think the style matchup favors Garry a lot. The only thing that doesn't favor him is just the chin aspect with Geoff Neal's power. But Ian Garry moves around a bunch. He's not super, super stationary. Luque kind of just has his head in the center line. I don't think Gary's going to do the same against Luque. Even though Gary's reach is not super long, he looks like he'd have a long arm reach, but he doesn't. It's the kicks and the leg reach, I think, is what's going to cause Mr. Geoff problems. And yeah, he doesn't have elite cardio, I don't think. Not the same Garry does either, but once he gets that rhythm going, once he starts, landing the kicks just in his flow state, I think he's just going to kind of tune up Geoff Neal for the whole fight. Again, would love to see Geoff Neal get it done. Could definitely see it happening. I definitely can see him catching Ian Garry and KOing him with a big punch. He did get dropped by Song Kanan, but apart from that fight, flawless performance if you take that one shot out. Didn't get tagged at all really by D-Rod. Didn't get tagged by Magny. You got to look at these younger guys, man. Even if they have some iffy performances earlier on. Again, same thing with Kopylov, same thing with Tafa. These guys are just in a different stride now. Geoff Neal's been around. He's lost his fights. He's lost to a bunch of guys. I don't think he has confidence he's a championship level fighter. He probably lost to Shavkat and is damn, I gave this prospect a tough fight, but he still got past me. I'm still in this 5 to 10 ranked kind of spot. Still got to turn back these other prospects, not really going to get a big jump up in competition. And I just think he's going to lose this fight, man. Garry, he is a pretty clean striker, to be honest. His defense can be a bit sus at times, but apart from that, offensively wise, extremely clean. Geoff Neal, I don't think he's going to get dropped or hurt badly, but I do think Gary's kind of going to hurt him to the legs, hurt him to the body. Shavkat, man, he got a bunch of knees to the body against Neal. went up high with head kicks as well. Garry's landed a few head kicks in his fights. Like, I just think these weapons that Shavkat had success with, not saying Garry's as good as Shavkat, obviously, but they're weapons that Shavkat had success with. I do think Garry can have success with too. Geoff Neal hasn't fought since the Shavkat fight, if I'm not mistaken. Did he fight between there, or has he been out since then? Because he was meant to, because he was booked to fight Garry at 292 and then he didn't. So he's been out since then, hasn't fought since March. Garry's fought 3 times last year, maintained a great active schedule. Even though the one thing that I'm not super pumped for him is the turnaround, because he was booked to fight in December, pulled out a week from the fight, and now he's turning back around 2 months. It kind of seems like he wouldn't have had the time to reset, take a break, get back into it. You're kind of straight back into fight camp. So that could wear him out a little bit. The vegan diet, never going to be a good thing. But ultimately, I think there's just too much in his favor, and I think the MMA gods are not going to give us this one. Not going to give us the one that we want just yet. So we move on though to the next fight. Ian Garry by 29-28 decision. I'll say Geoff Neal steals a round. But yeah, we move on to the co-main event. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I'm picking Whittaker to absolutely school him, in my opinion. Costa's not good. I know a lot of people's argument for this fight is he just lost to DDP, he got finished, he's got no chin. DDP, for one, actually does have power, unlike Costa. Costa doesn't have power. DDP is also very physical, great grappling, weird, awkward style. I just don't think he's not a weird, awkward style. He's just kind of shit and just mid everywhere. He's a big, strong guy, I guess, but he's not super powerful. I think his power is incredibly overrated. Hasn't KO'd anyone since fucking Johnny Hendricks, and that was a TKO from memory. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but he doesn't hurt guys a lot recently. Couldn't even finish washed Rockhold. Looked mid against mediocre Marvin, man. I just don't think he's good. Costa schooled up Marvin Vettori, and Marvin Vettori kind of made easy work of Costa, if I'm being real. I just think Whittaker's going to dance rings around him, man. The jab, the oblique kick, the 1-2 high kick, left hooks. He's just going to be so quick, and Costa's kind of just going to be there, flat-footed, in front of him, throwing some big arm punches, and Whittaker's going to just dance around him. He could even mix in takedowns. If Costa's going to win this fight, he has to just kind of catch Whittaker and hope that Whittaker's chin is completely gone, which I don't think it is. I think Whittaker's always just had a very very average chin, but Adesanya caught him with a perfect shot. He kind of has a weird flash knockdown chin, and then against Dricus, it was a flash knockdown, and then he was what the hell, and then he kind of just got swarmed. But with Adesanya, when he gets dropped there, he just kind of got caught off guard, flash knockdown. So yeah, I don't think he's going to get caught with a big punch by Costa, to be honest. Maybe the MMA gods are cruel and we have to deal with Paulo Costa and his shit again, because this guy pulls out of every fight, and if he wins this, he's going to fucking call for a title shot and not fight unless he gets one, and just pull out of any fight that they give him. So he's going to be an absolute nuisance if he wins. If he loses, he's probably just going to not fucking fight because he wants to get big money fights. And if he loses, maybe they try and rebook him against Ikram or something like that. But I don't see him accepting fights down the rankings. I think the only reason he's accepting this fight is because it is Robert Whittaker, and if he wins, it's a top 5 guy. But Whittaker's so much quicker. I think the power's about equal, to be honest. I don't think either of them are going to one-shot KO each other. But I think Whittaker's just going to use him as a punching bag the whole time. If you look at the Vettori-Whittaker fight, close-ish first round, second and third, Whittaker just pulled away, dominated, cracking him up, landing pretty much whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And I think a similar sort of thing is going to happen here with Costa, who, in my opinion, ain't that good. Maybe he wrestles Whittaker, just uses his strength and size, but I don't see him holding down Rob, and he doesn't quite have the same tenacity on the ground as Dricus to go for subs and land big ground and pound and really bully you on the ground. I just don't see that happening. I see Whittaker getting it done and rebounding after a tough loss and getting a nice win and getting back on track, and maybe being one win away from a title shot if he gets lucky. But we move on to the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Man, it's tough, and I'm worried for Volk, but I'm picking him to get it done by decision. It's a really rough fight, and I'm worried, man. I do definitely see visions of him getting cracked, getting dropped, and getting put away. And I know that's why a lot of people are picking Topuria. They do think he's going to get it done by KO, just catch Volk, and his chin isn't going to be the same. And I'm worried about that too, man. I am concerned about the power aspect and the chin aspect for Volk, but I do think we gotta just remember who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Alexander Volkanovski, the man that 50-45'd Max Holloway in the trilogy, the man that put the Korean Zombie through a blender, the man that escaped Brian Ortega's best submission attempts and beat the fuck out of him, the guy that ran through Yair Rodriguez and made him look like an amateur. We're dealing with Volkanovski, the guy that went tit for tat and almost won against Islam not on short notice, he lost short notice, but the one that almost won against Islam Makhachev in Perth, going up to lightweight and almost beat the guy that no one thought would ever lose. Like, this is who we're dealing with, and the one blemish is just that short notice fucking loss where he went up on 12 days notice and got head kick KO'd. I definitely get it, and I understand that's not a good look. But in terms of the actual performance of that fight is not indicative of where Volkanovski is at in his career. That's not like, damn man, Volk looks shit, he's washed. That's like, Volk was not preparing for a fight. He came in, he was not in great shape. You looked at him, his back was like kind of flabby. He didn't look in great shape. He looks in really good shape coming into this fight. He's definitely going to be in phenomenal shape, push a great pace. Look at that Islam fight, man. Look at the first and second fight and you can't be like, oh yeah, man, Islam's just better. Like, I'm sure Islam is probably the better fighter, but it's just like, when you're not preparing for a fight, you come in, you're going to get fucking cracked. Your reaction time's probably not going to be as good, you know? You're not in camp. You haven't been drilling those things. You haven't been working your defense the whole time. So I 100% get the concern and what that means after that fight. But in terms of just the result of that fight, cut that fight out. Get rid of it from the record books. I know it happened, but like, if we just erase that from our minds and just look at this fight skill-wise and technique-wise, Volk is Volk, man. He's so much better in my opinion. Like, Ilia, super powerful, great guy, clean boxing, great fighter, but he was getting a bit tagged up by Bryce Mitchell, man. Like, he was he smoked up and cooked up Josh Emmett, put him in a bag, but like, Josh Emmett, man, he's a guy that swings big meaty hooks and overhands, and if he doesn't land on you, he kind of gets schooled and tuned up. But if we're looking at it objectively, Yair packed up Emmett and fucking folded him into a pretzel within 2 rounds and subbed him. With his Ilia Topuria, took the whole 5. And I understand he beat the fuck out of him, but like, you dropped Emmett a few times, man. You're not starching Emmett. You're not KOing Emmett. Like, Emmett's a guy that got rocked and and hurt badly by Yair. I don't know, man. Emmett's been put out before. Emmett's got put out by, what's his name? Fucking hardest hitting 145er. Who the fuck is that guy? Jeremy Stevens. Like, Emmett's been dropped and put away before, and Ilia didn't do it. I understand he beat him up. Emmett showed great toughness, and I'm not saying like, oh, because he didn't KO Emmett, he's not powerful or anything like that. 100% get it. His boxing's super clean. That performance was like, it was precision. Like, that was like surgical level of kind of stuff. He was just picking Emmett apart. But man, I don't think you can just box and beat Volk. Like, Ilia doesn't do anything else. He boxes. And then if you're physically weak and able to be bullied on the grounds, then he'll shoot takedowns and he'll sub you. But like, Volk's not going to get fucking taken down. Guarantee, there's no chance he gets taken down. If anything, Volk could push a wrestling pace and give Ilia a lot of trouble in the grappling. Because remember, Ilia taken down and held there for a minute at the end of round 1 by Bryce Mitchell. Ilia didn't get up until the ref pulled him up for the end of the round. So I like that for Volk. If he does wrestle, I think he can have success. And on the feet, man, again, power, big worry, slick boxing, counters are elite. His offensive technique is so good. Gets cracked up a little bit. Not like his boxing defense is really solid, but he gets caught by some kicks. I know Volk's probably not the guy to throw a head kick, but maybe catches him off guard, might chuck some up there. Volk's going to chew him up into the leg, in my opinion. Topuria has that front foot turned inside. Not great for checking kicks. He's very boxing heavy, very one-dimensional. And how many champions can you see right now that are one-dimensional? Like, we got Jones, we got Aspinall. Pereira's a great kickboxer, exactly. Full stand-up on display. DDP, great all-round. Leon Edwards, great all-round. Islam, great all-round. Volkanovski, great all-round. O'Malley, great striking all-round. Pantoja, solid striking, great grappling. Ilia, man, great grappling that he doesn't use that often, and doesn't throw kicks, it's all boxing. And I do think Volkanovski is going to be able to prepare for that. He schooled and pieced up and dominated Max Holloway in the trilogy 50-45, and Holloway had no moments. I understand that Ilia hits harder than Max Holloway, of course. He's probably quicker than Max Holloway. Holloway's defense probably ain't as good, so I do think Volkanovski is going to have to work a bit more to land those shots. But I think First and second round, danger territory. Much like what we thought DDP versus Strickland was going to be. Like, first 2 rounds, Strickland's in a lot of trouble. Like, if he gets out of there, he's going to put on the pace. I think that's similar here. Again, Topuria, you might say he went 5 with Emily. He looked fine at the end. He wasn't gassed out. Get you, 100%. But when you're on the front foot, when you're the one throwing the whole time, it's real easy to look good and to last a long time. Again, pause. But it's good. It's easy to go the full 5 and not gas when you're just the hammer the whole time. I don't know how good Ilia is as the nail. He's not unbreakable. He's not uncrackable. He's not got a granite chin. He's been dropped. I know it was a kick, but like, he's been dropped. He hasn't really been rocked heaps apart from that, but like Bryce Mitchell, stinging him up a little bit, landing some good 1-2s. Bryce Mitchell doesn't hit hard at all, but he was landing shots. He was finding the 1-2 through the guard, man. Topuria got a real high guard. I think Volk can mix it up to the body as well himself. Go kicks, leg kicks, maybe even throw some teeps to the body too if Volkanovski comes out with like a little bit of a different style. Mix it up on Ilia. I want to see him shoot a bunch of takedowns. I want to see him push a grappling pace too. Test out Ilia's takedown defense. Because again, I don't know how good he is in the grappling defense. Like, I know his grappling's really solid. And I know he shucked off all of Ryan Hall's Imanari rolls. But apart from that, man, Bryce Mitchell held him down. Then he kind of bullied him. But Bryce is a guy that, like, you know, he's kind of got a bit of a soy physique. He's got that farm strength, but he's easily kind of bullyable, and he's not the most durable guy. He kind of shits himself and gets kind of dominated. But apart from that, man, again, not saying Topuria is overrated, but I think he's overconfident in my opinion. And I know a lot of people are saying overconfidence is good. Like, you want to believe in yourself. You want to think you're knocking this guy out. But if Topuria does truly believe that he's just running through Volk and it's his destiny, like, you got to work for your fucking destiny, man. You got to make sure that destiny comes into fruition. And I don't know how, like, if he's just been in the gym every day, like, working his butt off, making sure he gets that. Like, I think he's just like, he looks at Volk getting KO'd by Islam. He's like, I'm a great boxer. I'm a real powerful guy. I'm going to crack this guy and put him away and drop him and become champion and have my big star moment. And I just don't know if it's set in stone like that. Again, the curse, all this shit, I get it. There's reason to be concerned. There is reason to be worried and reason to pick Ilia. But if you're looking at it as a technical fight, I think you got to pick Volk, man. If people are like, if you took away that Islam fight and just like, who wins? Who's stylistically a better fighter? Like, who is the better fighter of the two? I don't know anyone who's going to say Ilia, man. Like, I think the boxing is comparable. Ilia probably has a more appealing boxing style, but Volk's jab is extremely good. He's got a reach advantage in this fight. Not heaps, but like 2.5 inches. That's plenty of size in my opinion. He's going to use that at range. He's going to really keep him at range. I think the kicks as well. Volk moves pretty solid, I do believe. Ilia, like, he's going to be front foot. He's going to be very forward movement. He doesn't move laterally a whole lot. He's very front foot, pretty flat-footed as well. And I think Volk's going to find the 1-2. He's going to be just popping the jab, pop the jab, jab. Like, he's going to just land that jab on the nose a couple times. He's going to be throwing a bunch of kicks, try and make Topuria come to him. Topuria's going to overswing. Volk gets those counters. Like, he was countering Holloway so well, countering Zombie really well. Like, this guy, his offensive and defensive punching technique is both equally as impressive in my eyes. Kicks, night and day, Volk's going to have an advantage in that aspect. But if Ilia comes out and they just have a pure boxing fight in the pocket and trade, I do think Ilia will probably get the better of it. I think they're actually still pretty even boxing technique-wise in terms of the effectiveness in which they use it. Volk uses his jab so well. He doubles up on the jab, double jab cross or jab cross as well. Like, he caught Zombie with like a cross and then reloaded it again through the right hand again. I can just see him landing those straight punches down the middle, man. Mixing it up, shooting takedowns, kind of just trying to wear on Topuria, test out that gas tank. And I don't think Topuria is going to hold up for 5 with Volk, man. Again, your cardio doesn't go. Like, the thing that goes first is the chin, and that is obviously the concern. But if people are going to just pick this fight by like, man, Ilia hits hard, Volk, his chin might not be the best after getting KO'd with a flush head kick. Like, I don't think that's an indication that his chin is worse. Obviously, it might be worse after that, but like, Usman came back after the head kick flatline knockout, which was worse than Volkanovski's. And I know a bit of a longer break in between, but like, he took shots off Edwards pretty well. Like, he lost, but I do think that was also a cardio aspect there too, with Leon winning that. But yeah, like, Usman, like, it's not like you just can't take the shots. Some guy, yeah, if you get like beaten up badly for 5, I do think that's the thing that is going to do your chin worse. But man, I don't know, 4 months, like, it's not ideal. It's not, I would have definitely preferred a longer layoff for Volk. But just skill-wise, I'm going to back the technique, I'm going to back the skill, and I'm going to back the fact that Volk hasn't been dropped or like put down badly with a punch in a while. Like Mendes got him, and I know, similar sort of size, similar thing, but that was ages ago. That was before Bald Volk, the mythical creature, came into existence. Bald Volk has not really been hurt with a strike, like punches. Like Islam caught him, but that's a very different style. Like that's like Volk kind of, like the range, that was an issue for Volk, the size difference in that fight, big problem. But apart from that, at featherweight, Ortega dominated him. Zombie dominated him. Holloway in the trilogy dominated him. And I know Holloway's not a guy that hits hard, but Holloway's usually a guy that's able to find the target a lot. And Volkanovski's defense in that fight was tremendous. He's so quick, man. I know Topuria is really quick, but I think Volk's speed is extremely underrated too. I think he might just prove to be a similar speed level to Topuria. He hurt Yair bad in his last fight. Like, he can definitely crack too. I could see him even wobbling Topuria, man, later on in the fight as it goes. Don't think he finishes Ilia. I would love to see it, and Ilia can shut his mouth. But I'm picking Volk. Long story short, I know I've dragged this prediction out for a while, but I'm really passionate about this fight. I really hope Volk gets it done. Again, not saying Ilia cannot win or will not win. I just think Volk is going to get it done, and I think he's going to be the guy to just be like, yeah, all these numbers, all these fucking 35 like records and shit, they don't mean shit. I'm Volkanovski, man. I'm cooking with Volk, and I'm going to put this guy back in his place and retain my championship. I hope that's what happens, man. I know there are some warning signs, but that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the ideal outcome for me. That's my preference. I'm going to go with the guy who is technically better in my eyes. The guy who has just worked his whole life to be just one of the best to ever do it. The guy that's pretty much ran through every single featherweight that he's faced. I think Topuria just hasn't fought that elite guy yet. If Emmett's your proving ground, mate, I just don't know how good he's going to be when someone's like really defending shots. Like, it's real easy to look like a fucking elite boxer when the guy's just standing there and can't defend punches. Like, Emmett's defense never been that great. I do think that it's going to prove to be like, Volk, man, is not Josh Emmett. He's not going to just stand there and swing big overhands and get cracked up. I think Volk's going to get this one done. I hope he gets it done. And I'm going to pick a 49-46 decision after a dicey first round. He's going to come back and he is going to get this one done by decision and retain the belt. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all of that. My predictions again: Volkanovski decision, Whittaker decision, Merab decision, Garry decision, Kopylov TKO, Lemos TKO, Tafa KO, Rinyan KO, Zhang KO, Paulo KO. What's his name? The guy that's fighting fucking Val Woodburn's going to get a decision, and then and Oban Elliott's going to get a decision, and then Miranda Maverick's going to get a decision. So those are the full card predictions. Very long video. Hope you guys enjoyed if you sat through all of it. Appreciate that. Follow my Patreon in description if you want to support the channel. Instagram, all that shit, Left Lane MMA. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.